Welcome to the EasyScan training. We're excited that AMP has included EasyScan in their offerings in the schools. AMP is a great program, and we are pleased to join with in helping you keep your students active. With this training will get you set to use EasyScan in your school and make it much easier for you. EasyScan was developed in 2015 to help schools who would keep track of all the laps that their students were doing during Mileage Club programs. Mileage Club was actually started in 1986. I think back to that was. And during that time, we've used many different ways of keeping track of laps. We use mileage marker cards. Some of you may have used this or created your own. Popsicle sticks or tally sticks that we have that are plastic. People have used clothespins, they've marked hands, they've done many different things. But those required manual recording, which many of the teachers would spend hours putting it in because of the fact that the kids are doing so many miles. But also, it doesn't work right now with social distancing. So in 2015, we developed EasyScan, and it saves you a ton of time. It also meets the social distancing standards that you have to have. Students only need to touch their own card. They don't need to touch the tablet or anything else. So, and you can put on multiple tablets at the same time so that the students are not bunching up and standing close to each other. So it's the easy way to allow you to track mileage at school and also at home. Now I'm going to talk about that more at the very end. I show you how that can be done, but I wanted you to know that EasyScan does meet social distancing guidelines. So let me show you the end goal of what you're going to do, what you want to be able to do. You'll need a tablet or a smartphone or multiples of these that will work for you, right? And what you're going to do is you'll go out with your tablet or tablets and with your cards. And when you go out, you simply say scan. You're going to put in what you want in terms of your program or your course. And as students go by, they simply scan their cards.
Looking good, matey.
And we have the optional encouragement piece.
Start.
They just simply scan their card.
All hands on the track, matey.
As I said, the encouragement piece is optional. Kids love the pirate. But sometimes people say, well, is it going to slow my kids down? No, it actually will jump in front of that encouragement piece if needed to scan a second person. Let me show you.
One. Don't make me tail haul ya, matey. One. Don't make. One. Yo ho. One. Heave ho. Go. Go. Go.
So as you can see, it's very fast. It's not a problem when you have multiple students scanning at the same time. It tells them how many laps they've done. You have the optional encouragement piece for them. And we also have set it up so the kids can't scan back to back. So if they scan, I'm sorry, I didn't get that one.
Don't be dropping anchor now. Keep going.
And they try to do it again right away, it's going to say that they scanned too soon. You're going to set the time frame before they can actually scan again. It's fast, it's easy. All you need is a tablet or however many you need, smartphones, and then the QR codes. That's all you need in order to scan. You don't even have to be on Wi-Fi. When you go out, you can be offline, do the scanning, and then come in and sync the data at that point. So just wanted to let you know that's what we're looking at the end. Oh, and I should show you. When you're all done, we'll get this close up so you can see it as well. You just simply stop scanning to say it's okay, and you press sync, and all that data will just simply go right into the database. So that's what our end result is going to be. Now, in order to get there, we have to do a couple other things. We have to get you set up on your database, okay? When you, and it's really not that hard, but I just want to make sure you understand everything. Now, when we set up the schools, I'm just typing something in, and it's not hard for me to type and think at the same time, and talk at the same time. When we set up the schools, we sent you an email with an activation code. That code is what is needed to get into your school. If you lost it or can't find it, just let us know. We will resend that code to you. That's no problem on our part. So we can get that to you. So let us know if you lost that code. Otherwise, go in, find that code. It was coming from Fitness Finders, and put in go on the link and put in the activation code, and you will come to a page that's going to look like this. Just a moment. Okay, so now it's going to look, your page is going to look like this. And it simply has 4 steps to get you started. The first one is just simply your school information, all right? And if we put some in and if it's not correct, please correct it. Make sure that it is correct, all right? So then next. Now this is a program. And a program is a time period in which data is collected. As you can see, I have 4 programs here. And you can have multiple programs going at the same time over the same dates, because when you are when you go into scan, you select which of these programs you would like the data to go to. So I have 4 different ones, and they do overlap sometimes in terms of the dates, and that's no problem. When you select one, the data will go into that program only as you are scanning. So you just simply, when you come up, there will not be any programs there. You will put in add program, put in the dates. Now, we always recommend that you put a start date before you're actually going to start running, because of the fact that you need time to put in the names and such. And so you need to have it at a time frame where it's viable for you in terms of putting that information in. And then at the end, give yourself a couple weeks in order that you can help, analyze the data and such. Those can be changed anytime, so don't worry about that. All right, so once you've got your program in, your next thing will be courses. And a course is a track that you cover. Now, it doesn't have to be a track, it can be anywhere. It can be, as you can see, I have outdoor, indoor, I have one specific for a school, I have the bus loop, I have home exercise. We'll talk about that one later. And to set it up, all you do is put in the number of laps per mile, and then EasyScan figures out everything that is needed. And it'll tell you the exact distance for each. And then what you do is you put in a scan delay. Now the scan delay is the number of seconds before they can scan again. It will come up with a default of 60 seconds, but you can change it to whatever you want it to be as you find out what works best with your students. But you want to make sure that it's long enough that they can't rescan, but yet that it's not too long so that they come back and it tells them that they scanned too soon. And you do that just by editing, and you can change that at any time. Okay, so that's your coursing. Say you can have multiple courses. Up here, you will select which course you want to do when you're working on it. And then go to the next one, and this is where you add your classes and your students. Now, what you would do is just simply go through and add the class and give them a name that you can identify them with. So that's very simple, and it can be any name and however you want to do that. But then if you want, once you've done that, and it's going to ask for information such as the name of the teacher. That's not necessary, but a grade is, because we could also look at the information by grade. So you have to put in the name and the grade. Teacher name is optional. To put those students in, the best way is simply to copy and paste. So take a class sheet that they give you from the office, copy it, paste it into here. It's very simple. You'll see a box like this. You simply paste the list of students in here, and then it will populate into your class sheet. Now, when you put them in, you need to put last name first, and the names will be separated by a comma or a space. But what happens once you put them in, you click next, you have a chance to check them and make sure that they are correct. So no problems there, and you can change things later on as well. Okay, so I'm going to go back out of this, but that's what you'll do. Those are the 4 steps that you do once you do this. You get school information, the program, the courses, the classes, and the students. Now you say, well, I'm not certain I have all my students. No problem. Again, you can make changes later. This is just to get you started and get things rolling for you. And the 4 steps in realizing what the information that you need. So once you're done with that and you click done, you will then be taken to the main sheet. Now, this is Easy Tally. This is the database. This is where all the student names are and where the mileage is visible, and you can print things and you can print QR codes and all of that. That's Easy Tally. Easy Scan is actually the program that is on your apps. So Easy Scan itself is an app. So just to make sure you understand that there are 2 programs. There's an Easy Tally and there's an Easy Scan. All right. So now you're on this page, and this is the main page that you're going to work from. You've added your students, you've got your courses, you're all set to go. And you're saying, well, I need to get some QR codes. So we look up here. This is going to be the program that you are working in. Remember I said you could have more than 1 program? Well, this program is the one that I'm working in at this point. All right, so if I want to change it, I can use the drop down and go to a different program, but that's the one I'm looking at. Class sheet, because it's highlighted, I know I'm on the class sheet. Stats, we'll talk about those later. And then Edit My School is where you will do most of your changing and additions and things like that. Edit My School is very important. So you can see there are many tabs across here. We will go through all of these, but I'm going to go right to the QR code tab. All right, so you've got your students in and you want to print out some QR codes. My suggestion is print out just a few at first to make sure everything's okay, and you're going to check them with the Easy Scan app before you continue to print them all out. So just remember, start with just a few first. Okay, so click on QR codes. It's going to ask you what size. Most people use the business size card, right? And then you have options here. You can print all your students at one time. You can print them by class, by team, or individually. Most people will print by class, and I suggest that because of the fact that when you print them, you're going to have a class. You can laminate them, cut them, and then you know that you have this class of students. That's the easiest. Otherwise, you're going to get a full page after page just running through the students from the entire school. So if I choose students by class, I have options. I can label it by school or class name and by grade. These are nice, but if you plan to use your cards year after year, which most people do, I caution you on putting the class name on or the grade, because it will change from year to year. But the school name is always a good piece to put on there. So I'm going to do it by class, and I'm going to do my sample class, and so I would generate that. And you'll see that it says that choose fit to page when printing. That's very important. I'll show you why. All right, so I'm going to download my PDF, and I look at it. There are all my QR codes for my class. All right, I just have 10 students, so it's all on one page. I just simply need to print this out and laminate it. Now, the point about making sure that it fits the page, let me show you the difference, okay? I currently have it fit to printable area. If I put it on default, see how it increased in size? Because of that, sometimes the QR codes would be cut off at the end, so Woody Woodpecker and Yosemite Sam's cards may not scan. We've had people have that situation. There's only 2 kids that won't scan, but that's why, because it cut them off. So always make sure you have fit to printable area or whatever term is used in your print mode. And then you just simply print them out and laminate them. Okay, so those are the QR codes. Now, what I've shown you is the easiest way. You can print as many of these QR codes as you want. It doesn't matter. And I always suggest for schools to print 2 copies before they start because you could probably tell me 3 students who are going to lose their cards in the first week, or misplace them at least. So print 2, at least laminate 1, and then you're ready to go. But there are other options too that I will show you in regards to this later on. But this is, again, you have unlimited scanning ability or printing ability of QR codes. If a student loses it, you can just simply print. And let me show you that. Okay, back here. Okay, so if I want to just do an individual student, because I've had new students come in or a student has lost theirs, I can simply click on this class, and Charlie Brown lost his, and Bam Bam is new. And then I go down to class 2, and Jack Davis lost his. So I can do that and print, and they'll just print those students. It's very nice that way, because then I don't have to worry about printing an entire class just to get those students. Okay, so again, this is where you get your QR codes. Edit My School, QR codes, and you can print as many as you need for your students. Okay, so you have all your students in, you have your classes set up, your students are there, you've printed a few QR codes that you want to test out. So now, how do you get the EasyScan app? Okay, so with your tablet or your phone, go to the store and get the app. It's called EasyScan 2. That's the app that you want. And you'll use the same password and the same email address to get into the app as you do into EasyTally. So don't worry about that. It's exactly the same one. So, and you really need to have EasyTally set up, because otherwise it syncs and there's nothing there. So we totally suggest set up EasyTally first, then go to find the app and find out what you have there. Okay, so I am now going to switch us over. Just a moment. It will take me just a second here to switch us over to the actual tablet itself. Okay, just a moment here. Okay, so now you should be seeing the front of the EasyScan app. All right, we have start session. That's the first line on our app. And then we have time session. This is for EasyScan plus timing. Right now, the schools from AMP do not have timing. They have EasyScan. Timing is available, but you would need to purchase that yourself. So if you're interested in timing, we can take care of that with you. The cost is minimal. I believe it's like $58 for 2 years. And but what it'll allow you to do if you're doing timed runs, this is the easiest way to do it. And I will show you that in a minute. But if you are doing timed runs, you may want to consider adding the time to yours. Sync is just syncing the data to the database. Practice session. This allows your kids a chance to practice without the information going into their actual account. So anything you do in a practice session will not be recorded. So only use it as practice. But we find that it takes students, especially the younger ones, about a week to figure out how to scan, where to put the card, where they should stand and such. So we use the practice session for that time frame to just let them figure it out. One thing I will suggest is that when you set up your tablet, put a line or an X where the student should stand and have them initially hold their card right here. So if I stand on the X and I hold my card right there, it's going to scan. Now the kids will then learn how easy to do it and where to set it and such, but that's the best way to start. Have that X or that line, stand on it, put my card right here, and it's going to scan. Now, if you have kids that are having trouble with it, if it's in a plastic container or it's laminated, doesn't normally bother it, but if you're outside, there might be a little bit of glare of sun, have them just tilt it down just a little bit, and usually that'll take care of the situation. All right. So just a couple hints there for you. All right. Settings. Settings is where you take care of things for your app. Now, the first thing is you have themes. Remember I talked about the encouragement themes? And as we see, you have beep, catchphrase, coach, pirate, standard, surfer. You can have select up to 3 of them at a time, right? And then where you use these is over here. So, and over here is where you select which one you're going to use at that time. So I have the pirate up, all right? The camera is just allowing you to turn the front or back camera, and whichever you want to use. The device name is very important. Please give each of your devices a different name. I'll show you later that you can see the devices and on EasyTally, and that you can see when they were last synced. This is important because of the fact that if you are looking at your data and you say, wow, I think we're missing some data here. What's going on? You can simply click on the look at when the last time it was scanned, and you'll know if you're missing some data. So please name those tablets. Okay, orientation is just if it's going to be up or sideways. And programs, that will come up and it'll show you the different programs that you have available to you. Now also, this is important down here. If by chance you have any issues with your program and you're working with our IT people, they may ask you to send data or send logs. This is where you're going to do that. You just simply go to settings and you send the data, send the logs to us, and then they can take care of it from there. So just so you have that information. So we're going to go back to the home page. All right. Now, in terms of that network connection, remember, you can take it outside to the track where there is no Wi-Fi. You can scan and then bring it in, and then you would sync the data. Let me suggest also that you sync your data before you scan and then after you scan. Here's the reason why. If you have made any changes in the database since you last synced, those changes are not going to be there. So if you sync your data and then you add a new student, that student is not going to be in here until you sync. So it's always best to sync right away in the morning before you start scanning, because then you're going to have the most accurate data. Also applies if you have more than one app going or device going at the same time. If I sync device 1 and then I sync device 2 and then device 3, what's going to happen is device 1 does not have device 3 information because it was synced after. So, but if I sync it first thing before I scan again, it's going to have all the most accurate information. So sync before, sync after. Just a good rule of thumb to always do. Okay, so let's show you how it happens. Okay, start session. And you're going to select the program that you want. Let's say I'm on this program. All right, we're going to continue. And then you select your course, whichever course you want, and it's going to know exactly how much each scan is worth. And then I simply start scanning. All right. Now, when they scan, you're going to see, they're going to see the number of laps they've done this session, their name, obviously, number of laps they've done, and the total distance that they've done. So if they have been running for a couple months, they will see the total distance, not just the distance for this time frame. That's why it came up 2.75. So they just keep scanning.
One, shiver me, timbers ye be amazing. One, shiver me, timbers ye be amazing.
The encouragement pieces are random.
One, keep going for the booty.
So you never know which one they're going to get.
Don't make me feel how you make me run. One, blow me down, ye still be going.
Now I want to show you something else that you can scan with that we have used. We're using these.
One, no hornswoggle, you dump this.
This is a slap band.
One, you'll be slobbing the decks if you try to quit now.
Found that you put the slap band on, and they simply come by and scan.
2. Don't be short-faced. Keep running.
Some teachers have actually found that using these on the elbow instead of the wrist, so they're like this, they just simply come up and they scan, and
3.
there's less
Yo,
movement.
ho, ho. Look at your goal.
There seems to be less movement when it's on the elbow than it is on the wrist. So these are a possibility for you. I will explain a little bit more later. And also we have a card
2.
piece that
Aye, you're doing it.
it can be put in. It's totally waterproof and keeps, you just print out the card and then you put it in there. We also have a plastic card that once you put your students in, you ask us to print, and we print those. Those are starting at about 30 cents each, and we print those off and send those to you. So there's many different options in terms of scanning, but there's always this one of just print it out and then laminate it. That works just fine.
2. Heave, ho, go, go, go.
So your students just keep scanning their cards as they go by,
Our shivery timbers ye be amazing.
and after about 2 classes, you know all of these phrases by heart,
2. You're one fast landlubber.
but they love it. And you can see it's showing the distance and it's showing the students there, and it will just keep scanning and scanning until you're done. So when you're done, you just simply press stop scanning. It's going to ask you, okay. And then you simply sync the data. And again, you don't have to sync it right away. If you're not under Wi-Fi, just hang on. And then when you come back in, you just sync the data. And when it's complete, it's already into my database. So that's how simple it is. Scan, sync. That's all you've got to do. Now, I've told you about that there is a timing option available, and I want to just show it to you. All right. So once again, you would choose your program, and you may have a program just for the mile run or whatever distance you're doing. All right. Now, I'm ready to go. I have my students. Each of them has their card. They're lined up at the start. I have Easy Scan becomes your stopwatch, and it's going to keep track of the time and the laps for you. You don't have to do that. Now, I always recommend that you have another stopwatch, a backup stopwatch, but you don't have to keep track of it on a sheet of paper and have your head down and hoping that you got all the laps and have students accusing you. No, this becomes their responsibility to take care of it. So I got them all lined up. I say, okay, everybody, here we go and start. Now, it is timing as it's sitting here. The students are running. They run their laps, and when they come back around, they're going to scan for each lap. So if we have a course that has 4 laps to it, when they come by, they'll scan.
1.
There's no encouragement piece with the mile run because we don't want anything to be slowed down. So it just tells them how many they've done. So the next person comes by, and you can
1.
see it's showing them the time. When you are done, you're going to have splits and total time available to you on a printout from Easy Tally. So they just simply keep running. And then when they come by again,
2.
and you can see the time there, that's going to show total time as they're going by. But again, we are keeping track of splits as well. And Yosemite Sam decided to pick it up here. Who else do I have here? Bam Bam. All right, Bam Bam. There we go. All right. So now the Grinch is really flying. And then eventually comes around. Oh, sorry. Oh, scan too soon. I tried to cheat. Because it couldn't do that. So, all right, so I can't go there. And now I come. And now I've got my 4 laps. I'm done. The timer keeps going, but the Easy Scan knows that that's the end of their time run, and there you go. It's all you've got to do. When you're done, you press stop scanning, you press OK, and then you're going to sync that data, and it'll all be in the database. So it's really pretty simple. once you, I'm not certain what that said, something failed, but we'll figure out what that was. So it's really very simple. And I'm just going to try that one more time to see what that was. We have a storm going through right now, and so that may have affected it. Yeah. All right. So that's Easy Scan. That's all you have to do. It'll look the same on the phone or on the tablet. This is what you do. So I'm going to stop sharing this and come back on. Okay. So let me just re-show you these. We have the these are the slap bands. They run about $1.10 each. That's where they start. Okay. We have these nice little pockets that you can put them in, again, that are sealable, so it's not going to get wet. And that's about 35 cents each. Oh, I'm sorry, 15 cents each. And the plastic cards are about 35 cents each. And a laminated card, you can do as many as you want by yourself. So those are the options you have in terms of QR codes. All right. So let's go back to our, coming around let's go back to Easy Tally and look at that. All right. So now all the information that is on this screen. We have our miles here, and I want to show you what's all available on this, just on this page. It's amazing. I am on the class sheet. If you look, I'm looking at them by class, and if I want to, I have other classes. I can scroll through them and look at those students as well. I don't know. All right. Or I can look at them by grade. So here's all the kindergartners, and then the first graders, and the second graders. Whatever you put in is going to show up. I can also look at them by teams, and this is a way of organizing your students in different groups. So you can take any student from any class and you can put them in teams and mix them up, or you could put second and third graders in against fourth and fifth graders, or kindergarten and third against second and fourth, or however you want to do it. That's the teams give you the option to do some fun competitions with the students. But let's go back to class. Now, as I look at this page, I have all my students. If I want to see, well, who's the top runner in this class? I click distance. Whoa, there we go. Yosemite Sam's the top. And Woody Woodpecker has missed a few days perhaps or whatever, so he needs to pick it up a little bit. And then I can go the other way if I want to, or I can just go back. So it's alphabetized. I can alphabetize by last name, which is the default, or I can do it by first name if I need to do that for some reason. And I can print this page, no problem at all. Just go to print and go to Miles tab, and it will come up as a print. This is good. You cannot see the bars. That's because in your settings, you need to put background graphics. There they are. So if that happens, go down to your options and make sure you put in background graphics. That's in the printer menu. So this is what the page that you will see when you come to it. Let's say you need to add some miles, or let's say you want to add some miles for the class because they were doing something and they didn't have Easy Scan with them at that time. I simply do this. I select my course, and they were over at the bus loop, and I can put in that they did 4 and just tab 3, tab 2, tab 4, tab, and just put them in, and then press save, and it adds right on to the student, to their number of miles. Or if I want to check on a person, let's check on Charlie Brown. Okay, I can just click on that purple line, and I can see every time that he has had mileage put in. We just put in 4 in the bus loop, but there were 3 from outdoor here, and there's home exercise, and so I can see that. I can see times too if I need to check something out. So, and I could add. If I need to add a lap, I can do it here. So all those things are available right here on this class sheet. You can also add a student from this class sheet. So when you have new students coming, you can do that. Okay, now I am going to go to awards. This is the page that allows you to keep track of all the awards that you're going to give your students. The way it looks right now is that anybody with a little trophy in front of them has earned an award, but it has not been given to them yet. And this orange bar shows that they have earned, that's how far they've done, and the empty boxes show that they have earned an award. So this is keeping track of all the awards. Well, how did I get this to happen? All right, well, let's go back here so you can see this. Edit my school. Go to awards. This is a listing of the actual awards that you give your kids. So you just type in what it is. It's a duck. It's a glow toe. It's a t-shirt. It's a toe token. Whatever you're giving your kids, that's what you list there. Then under award levels, you place it at the mileage where it's going to be given. Just a moment. We had the lights go out. Let me see if I can get them back on. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so you would put in the number of miles, like I have 2 miles here. I have a black and white certificate and a lace link lanyard with a toe token. At 5 miles, no certificate, but a toe token. 10, toe token. 15, a runner award. 26.2, a black and white certificate, a 26.2 token, and a t-shirt. So you can see you can do whatever you need, and you can specify it and customize it to your situation. So when I go back to the class sheet, that is what I'm seeing here in the awards. And I just don't know, I think someone shut it off again. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have all of these on, showing that these students receive these awards. So I go to print and I go to awards list. That's what that is. That's the awards list. And I click on that. It shows me all the students and what awards they should receive. So if I'm going to pick things up, I pick up 7 lace links with toe tokens, 4 toe tokens, and 7 black and white certificates. And I will have everything that I need to hand out to these students. So you can hand that to a teacher along with the awards, and they can just simply hand them out. That's what we've done because we know that, you know, you worked hard on this and we wanted to make it simpler for you. Now, if I download it so that I can print it out, great. And then you just, let's say, print them out and hand them out, stuff. And then, whoops, yeah. When you go back, it's going to ask you if you want to mark off all the awards as having been presented to the students of the class. Yes, because otherwise you have to click them individually. I say, okay. Now when I go back here, you can see that they are clicked off. All right. Now you say some of them aren't. That's because those are certificates, and certificates are different. So I click print again. I go down to certificates. It's going to automatically download the certificate that I have selected for this piece, and it's going to put in their name and it's going to put in their mileage. Charlie Brown, Bam Bam Flintstone, they all have their mileage in and their name printed on the certificate. So I just print them off and I'm done with that. So that's where it's really nice. And again, when I'm done, do I want to mark these off? Confirm that I do. And I go back to my awards thing and they are all marked off now. I have given all of those awards away. And if I want to see, I can check on it. And if I need to reprint a certificate, I can do that from here as well. So that's the awards. It keeps track of your awards, and that's an amazing piece. It makes it so much simpler. And if you need to make changes, you can along the way. Okay, participation. This is just going to show you when students participated. We had many programs that wanted to know how many kids were running that day and how many times a week a child ran. Well, there you go. You have all that information right there, and you just have to click on participation. Okay, print This is where you print like the miles tab. You can print the awards tab here. Printing the awards tab would actually print the page. So you can actually print the page itself. Participation tab, you can print that. School awards list means that you're printing all classes, and it'll be divided by page, but you can print all the classes at once, not just one at a time. Now, certificates, I showed you that. This certificate shows you how many miles a student has currently. So if I bring this one up, and you have options. There's this certificate. You can customize it with the name of your run club, or you can use the colored certificates. Those have to be ordered from Fitness Finders. So you cannot print those off yourself. It would take too much of the print color in your printer to do that. So I'm choosing this certificate. I'm going to download it. And if we look at that, you can see now, remember Charlie Brown had 2 miles before, but that was because I had it set at the 2-mile award level. This is showing his total miles. So this is a nice certificate at the end of the year to print out so that they can see their total mileage. Okay, so let's go back. And again, that one's not going to ask you to click it off because it doesn't affect anything else. It just shows you the total mileage. Okay, so that's your class sheet that shows you everything you need, and there's a lot of great features here. All right, let's show you stats, because many of you will need stats. This is a great one. This is your leaderboard, and this is going to show you your top 10 students, your top 25, top 50, top 100, and it just puts them in order, and you can just print them. So you can do that week by week if you wanted to. We can also see the top class, the top team, and the top grade. So, and those are all printable from here. I am so sorry. Someone just keeps shutting off the light. I apologize for that. I'm not, they must not know I am doing this. Okay, so that's the stats on View Leaderboard. To view reports, oh, excuse me, there's more here I want to show you. This is the school. This shows the number of population and the total miles for this program, okay, for this program. Here's the class, and it's going to give you a chart showing where the kids are in terms of mileage. Okay. You can also get a chart by teams and a chart by grade. So now, there are many more reports here. All right, it's slowly coming up. Let's try that again. Let's go back. There, that looks better. Now, if you want to do laps, you can do it by class, team, or grade. You can select your class if you're using the class or your team. You can do a date range, or you can do it like today, this week, this month. And what you're going to come up with is a report like this. And it shows all the laps that they've done on this course with that, and it shows their mileage for that date range. And it's a very nice report that you can just present to someone and show how your kids are doing. We also have an individual student report. And again, you can set the time frame for up to a year. So if you want to use this at the end of the school year or for a conference time frame, you'll get a report like this. So here I have a report for Charlie Brown and how many laps he did on each course, his monthly participation, and I've just had him doing it in August, and showing how many miles he's done per month. All right, then Bam Bam, and then the Grinch, and I would have one for each student showing that information. You have many other possibilities too. You can, again, the timed runs. Let's see the one we did today. Yes, so we can see the Grinch did 4 laps. Here's his splits, and total time. And this was Bam Bam, and this was Yosemite. So I have all that information there, or I can just print it with just total time if I want to. I don't have to have all the splits on there. So see if I don't want to include splits, I just do this, and it would just give me overall time. Okay, so when you're looking at this, those are the PDF reports. If you want to do it on your own and create something, there's a spreadsheet that you can use, and you can do whatever you want with all that information. There's a lot of it there, but that is available to you as well. Okay, so I've gone through, this is the program, class sheet, we looked at that, stats, we've looked at those just now. Edit My School. This again is very important part of taking care of your program. So let's go through that. Edit My School. If you need to change the information, that's what you would do. Awards, remember those are the actual awards that you're giving the kids. You would just type them in there. Award levels is putting them at the mileage levels and adding certificates, so you have that information. Classes, we did that when we first logged in and set up the account, but maybe some things have changed. Just go in here and make the changes that you need to. Courses, we've talked about the courses and how you need to do that, so that's no problem either. Devices, this is what I told you about, where you need to name your device. Here's Debbie phone, Amber's iPad, Fitness Finder's tablet. Those are great names. This is not a good name, and if you don't put a name in, that's what you're going to get, and it's hard to find out whose device is that. So put a name on there. You'll see the date for the last sync. You'll see the version. We are at 1.1.9 right now. And if somebody is no longer scanning, you can get rid of that device. So this is a great feature, and we will use that if we have problems as well. So be sure to name those phones. Programs, we've talked about that. When you're done with a program, you can archive it. And once you archive it, we can't edit it anymore, but you'll have that data to look at. So if you don't want a long list of programs here, it's best to archive it once you're done. But let me caution people who are coming back from last year, when you are going to make a new program, what you want to do is you want to start with last year's program so that you can use the same QR codes. So I would change it to last year's program. I would go add a program. I'm going to base it on last year's program. Again, this is for people who used it last year. And remember, no changes are made to that base program, which is using that to get us started. And you will walk right through here, and it will take you right through and set up your new account. So on that note, do not archive something from last year until you have made a copy of it for this year. You're going to move your students forward. You can take mileage forward if you want to, but you don't have to. But don't archive something until you have made a copy of it. Now, if you archive it, we can undo it, but it does take time. So it would be best not to have that happen. All right, QR codes, we went over that. And teams. This is where you would create your teams. It's very simple. You just give it a name, and then you move your students over to the students that you want in the team. Users, these are the people who are going to have access to your account. Now, you do not have to put all your teachers in if they're not going to be scanning, but if they are, you'll want them to have access. And there's two ways that you can do that. You can put them in with their email address, or you can put them in as a shared user. So let me show you. You as a coordinator will have full access to the account. That means you can scan, you can edit, you can do everything. Now you then have the ability to decide what access everybody else has. Let's say you are working with some teachers who are going to be making changes to their class and adding students. So you're going to give those teachers the option to scan. They can scan anyone. they can view their class and they can edit their class. But that's all that they can do. They cannot make changes to other classes. You could also give someone scan and view so that they can scan anyone and they can view their class, but they cannot make any changes. But you can also make it so people can only scan. And this is used primarily when you have volunteers coming in for maybe a special fund run that you're doing, which, by the way, EasyScan is great to use for fund runs. And so they can only scan. So they'll go in on the shared user, they'll use the same email and password, and they can only scan and sync the data. They cannot get into the account at all. So those are the 4 levels: full access, scan and view and edit, and scan only, that are available to you. And you, again, are the person who decides. You can do that just by clicking edit, and you give them their level of access. Okay? So all that is available. If you need to send someone, like if you put a teacher's name in and you need to send them an email, you just click on here, and it's going to send them a password email to get into this account. So we've tried to make it very easy for you. And again, you don't have to have everybody in here. You can, especially if the teachers are using it as a brain break and you want to know, you want each student, each teacher to have their own login, then just put them in. But if it's not necessary, they can use a shared user and scan only. All right. Shared user is scan only. So if a teacher is a shared user, they can only scan. They can't view their class. Okay. So we've been through all of these things. Now I want to show you how to do this at home. All right. So Fitness Finders has created what we call an equivalency chart. Sorry, that is not our site. I should have done this earlier. No, sorry, I'm not certain what's going on. Ah, that was the problem. I didn't type it in correctly. Okay, this is our website. All right. Now, what we've done is we've created an equivalency chart that you can use. So go to fitnessfinders.net. That's what I was not putting in the S, fitnessfinders.net. Scroll to the bottom on the main page, and you're going to see free downloadable materials. Right? We have an activity recording sheet. We have it in English, and we also have it in Spanish. What it is, it's an equivalency chart. We have noted the number of minutes someone should be involved in an activity in order to equal 1 mile of running or walking. When you run or walk a mile, you burn about the same number of calories because you are taking your body weight through a specific distance. So now we've equated these activities according to the amount of energy expended to that 1 mile. So here you can see shooting baskets, about 15 minutes. Running, 12 minutes. Dancing, 15 minutes. Jumping rope, 10 minutes. Lifting weights, 14 minutes. We have some more down here. Gymnastics, 15 minutes. Kayaking, 17 minutes. Yoga, 30 minutes. Pogo stick, 10 minutes. We try to come up with activities that the kids will be doing at home that they can record. So you can download this and send it to your parents. And there's an information sheet on the front. You can put in your address as to where they need to return it. They can record the information and then email it back to you. And then you can enter that information into EasyTally. You would do that manually on the class sheet. Taking a few minutes to come up, there it is. You would enter it manually on the class sheet. So that's the equivalency chart. Many teachers are using it right now, and it's easy to use. You just simply, again, download it, email it to the parents, have them fill it out, and email it back to you. I would suggest that you use it, or at least introduce it in class when you have them in person, to make sure that they understand how to use it. You might even want to use it in class. And then when they go home, especially if they go home, they're going to be able to use that very efficiently at home. So we have both the English and the Spanish version here. So that is fitnessfinders.net. And then when you come to the main page, just scroll to the bottom for the free download. Right. So how would you set that up mileage course-wise for them? Here's my suggestion. You would set up a home exercise with a distance of 1 mile. So each lap is equal to a mile. The reason you would do that is because you're going to record by miles. So if I'm back at the class sheet and I have the students have sent me their information, I can go here. My course is home exercise, and I know that every mile that I put in, and every lap that I put in is actually a mile. Okay, so Charlie Brown did 4, and Hulk did 6, and Barney Rubble did 8, and Lucy did 4, and Woody Woodpecker got in 6. I can save that information, and it would be added right to there. So that's a very easy way of doing it. So send the equivalency chart home, and then have them fill it out, send it back to you. And then, as I said, with your courses, make sure you just have home exercise or whatever you want to name it, and it's 1 mile. And you wouldn't have to worry about the scan delay at that point. Okay. So I wanted to show you just some information. I want to tell you that with EasyScan, we have great customer service. We have a live chat. If you look at the bottom right here on EasyTally, that's the chat button. Just click on there and select what you need, and we will help you. And there's a FAQ here that really is well done and actually has videos showing you the information where you need to click and things like that. So initially, I would say if you have just a question, go here and get that information. And if you can't, then we can help you out. And we are very good. We're here from about 9 to 4:30 Eastern time. And if you get on there and we're not online at that point, just leave us a message and we will get back with you. So our customer service is great. Everybody raves about it, but that's how you're going to get a hold of us with the customer service. Okay. Or you can email us at customerservice@fitnessfinders.net. 800-789-9255 is our phone number. So you can call us. And but I really suggest that you do the chat, because then we can get into your account and look at it and help you right out at that point. The equivalency charts are found at fitnessfinders.net. Scroll to the bottom. So there's that information for you. And again, if you cannot find your activation code, let us know. We'll send it to you again. There shouldn't be any problems at all. Okay. I think I've covered most everything that I needed to cover for you today. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, I did want to show you something. If you have a question, this will take you right to our frequently asked questions and give you information. So be sure to use these question marks. They're there for a reason. They're not just there to pretty up the page. They're there for a reason. So use those question marks, and that will help you out a lot. Okay, like I said, I hope that I've covered almost everything that you need. If you have any questions, give us a call. And I hope you find that EasyScan is really easy to use in your program. So have a great day. Thank you for watching, and so long.